This is Valley News Live at noon.
Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. We begin with new information on a story we first reported to you on Friday. A Democratic candidate for North Dakota's District 24 has dropped out of the race. 33-year-old Caitlin Huss was charged with simple assault last week. Valley City police officers were called to Boomer's Corner Keg on East Main Street just after 2:30 Friday morning. According to the police report, a man said he had been assaulted by Huss, claiming she punched him in the face and ripped out some of his hair. Over the weekend, Huss announced that she, quote, behaved in a manner unbefitting of my position of a candidate and unbecoming of my own personal standards of myself. Her name will still appear on the November 8th ballot, but Huss encouraged voters to choose one of the other three candidates. You can read her full statement on the VNL News app. Well, let's take a look at weather with meteorologist Jim Gash.
Hey Jillian, right now we're taking a look here in Fargo where there's a bit of a haze in the air, and that's from some of that agricultural dust as the harvest season moves on. And if you're looking at those trees, you can even see some of those colors there in those leaves as we move farther into fall, and of course those clear skies. But temperatures right now across the region are showing most people in the 50s and the 60s, ranging from about 56 in Baudette Bemidji all the way to about 62 degrees in Jamestown. And those clear skies are fully in place. In fact, not just in the Red River, but you have to go all the way down to the other Red River between Texas and Oklahoma before you see any type of clouds even for much of the country. Here in Fargo, though, we'll continue to see those clear skies, and we'll work our way up pretty nicely, up to about 68 degrees by this afternoon. We do have that warming trend sticking around for at least a couple more days, and I'll let you know when we can expect cold temperatures to return to the valley.
All right, thanks, Jim. A scary situation for a short time after two young children walked away from their grandma's house in South Moorhead. Police say the kids left the house in the 500 block of 30th Avenue South around midnight. Officers spread throughout the neighborhood and North Dakota firefighters were called to help out. Police tell Valley News Live the children were found safe a few blocks away in about a half hour. There's no signs anyone will face charges in this case. One woman is in serious condition after being hit by a train in downtown Fargo. It happened just before 4 yesterday morning at the railroad crossing in the 500 block of North Broadway. That's between Cowboy Jack's and Empire Liquors. Police say the crossing arm was working and the train used its emergency horn to alert its passing. Police are not releasing the name of the 31-year-old victim, but say their last check showed she was in critical condition. A Grand Forks woman is hurt following a two-vehicle crash in rural Polk County. It happened at an intersection north of Crookston shortly after noon. The victim is identified as 38-year-old Susan Carlson. Two children in her vehicle were buckled up and not hurt. A Fargo police officer is being recognized by the Red River Valley SWAT team for his efforts during a standoff last summer. Back in August, police were doing a welfare check in the 1000 block of 35th Street North when the person barricaded himself inside the home and fired shots. Officer Adam Schock is trained on crisis intervention and talked with the suspect for an hour before SWAT arrived. They had Schock continue talks because of the rapport he'd built, and he was able to get the person to surrender without any more shots being fired. Whether it be through art, conversations, or participating in activities like powwows, the community is encouraged to get out today for Indigenous Peoples Day and celebrate Indigenous lives and history. You can do that by appreciating art like this mural, The Moon Also Rises, painted by Indigenous artist Anna Johnson, who connects Fargo businesses to her roots on the Turtle Mountain Indian Reservation. Or there are other events throughout the valley to celebrate today, such as a foraging walk at the MSUM Regional Science Center and powwows at Moorhead High School and Agassiz Building Gymnasium.
Indigenous members of our committee that are excited to come together and help share stories and help make that connection with the community. But we just really encourage people in our community to get out to support these other organizations, Indigenous-led organizations that are doing such fantastic work in our community.
More event details are available on our website at valleynewslive.com. Nearly 2 weeks after Hurricane Ian made landfall, Floridians are still struggling to deal with high water and the enormous task of cleaning up. Across the state, more than 25,000 people are still without power. Bradley Blackburn has more on how residents are coping.
The water has receded in Orla Vista, Florida, and this weekend a wave of volunteers surged in. They came to help residents sort through their waterlogged possessions and begin the process of putting their lives back together.
The hurricane came and destroyed it. This one was one of the worst.
Diane Scott's home is now filled with mold. Crews helped her pick through the debris Ian left behind and salvage what she can. Many residents are still searching for a new place to live.
We're just here trying to provide some assistance to them because we know they've been devastated.
Thousands of people across Florida are still without power, and in some places, floodwaters are still swamping homes. On Friday, Governor Ron DeSantis said it's worse in inland areas where 20 inches of rainfall had nowhere to go.
All this stuff is very high right now, so you got a lot of water that's still standing there. So this is an ongoing thing, and the impacts of this have been very, very broad.
It's overwhelming on a level I can't explain.
As cleanup from Ian continues, experts are concerned about the storm's effects on mental health, too. Research shows PTSD, depression, and substance abuse often rise after a disaster strikes. The state is opening support centers, and the federal government has set up a distress helpline.
Ian killed more than 100 people, and officials say that death toll could still rise as they search through debris. Coming up at noon, trees in Minnesota are paying the price for this year's drought. What experts are saying next? But next, weather to plan your day.